This week is going to be critical for the stock market, for Micron, Nvidia, AMD, Sofi stock, Palantir stock, all the stocks that we talk about. This is going to be a critical week, and we all might only have a few hours left until we get a deal or no deal between Iran and the United States of America. And of course, that could be good for a lot of stuff, for inflation, for oil prices, for what the Fed is going to do, maybe even what Bank of Japan is going to do. We're going to talk about a lot of things. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button. Let's try to get 1,000 likes on this video. I know you guys can do it. Let's get into it. Please read the disclaimer. So this is going to be a very interesting week for the stock market. We finished on a high, right? The S&P 500 ended up finishing up the week on 2 green days, but the week started off not so great after last Friday, which wasn't good with the bad, or quote unquote bad, right? But it was high job report. NASDAQ similar, right? But many stocks pulled back and had a better end to the week than the beginning. But we are looking at this week where the first few days, there's not much May industrial production data on Monday, May housing starts data on Tuesday, May retail sales data on Wednesday, and then the big thing is on Wednesday. So Fed interest rate decision and Kevin Warsh first meeting as Fed chair on Wednesday. And then we're going to know, is the new Fed chairman, is he like the old Fed chairman and he does things according to what the probabilities are telling us? Which basically that's what happened over the past few years, or is he going to surprise everybody and reduce interest rates? Now, again, a lot of what's going to happen in the next 24 hours can affect what his decision is going to be. Because right now, President Trump is saying that there's high probability that a deal is going to get signed in the next few hours. But Iran has directly rejected Trump's offer for money and economic benefits in exchange for not responding to Israel's strike on Beirut, saying an attack on Israel is imminent, according to Channel 12 in Israel. Trump separately claimed that no money will exchange hands in an Iran deal, directly contradicting the bribery offer Iran just rejected. Basically, what's happening is that Hezbollah in Lebanon continue to attack Israel, even though they agreed to stop attacking each other. Israel's like, okay, enough is enough, and made a big attack on Beirut. Then the Iranians are like, wait a second, you're attacking Lebanon? No, we're not making a deal. Even though Lebanon is so far away from Iran, right? But still, they have a big interest. Hezbollah are benefactored by Iran. So that's what's going on right now. I still think that this is all a ploy, and that President Trump and the Israelis don't want, the deal is not good. They don't want this deal, and the Iranians don't want to sign the deal because they don't want to release their uranium depots. They have been doing all kinds of shenanigans over the past few days, making the entrances to the warehouses or the caves in these sites to be inaccessible, so that when the U.S. and or international forces come and try to remove the uranium, they can't. And then over the years, the Iranians will dig it up and they'll have the uranium. That's what's going on right now. So I think what's going on in the last few hours is the US and Israel trying to bend arm of Iran to agree to everything that they want. We'll see. I closed the window on my bomb shelter. We'll see if Iran attacks Israel or not, and we'll see what's going to happen and how the markets are going to react Monday morning to what's happening. But President Trump continues to say that it's just in a few hours and that the deal is going to get signed here on Sunday. But we'll see. We don't know how things are going to play out. As always, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very important. So right now, we potentially will see what's going on with the stock market. How is it going to play out, right? President Trump is telling us that the peace deal is still on track for Sunday, despite Israel's strike on Beirut and all the things that Iran is saying. But when we go back and we look at what's happening this week, it's not written here, but there's also a decision in Japan to decide what's going to happen with their interest rates. Now, every single time that they have raised interest rates, the markets have not reacted in a positive way because of the Japan carry trade. If you don't know what happened, I'll give you a quick recap. Basically, for many, many years in Japan, interest rates were zero or even negative, meaning that you could take basically money with no interest out on it or even negative interest. It was like, I think, a quarter negative for a very short period of time, and do whatever you want. So basically, what happened, people were taking out yens, and investing all around the world and investing in high risk assets. But about a year and a half ago, or was it a year ago, actually, in the summer of 2025, we had the Japanese central bank decide to raise interest rates for the first time in a very long time. And on that, we saw a reaction, and you can see here on the graph, right? This was uh, before this sell-off here was the of course the tariffs and everything that came off of that. But before that, right, we had the Japan carry trade here, August of 24. Sorry, it's almost 2 years ago. So we had that sell-off there. The first time that Japan had reduced interest rates, right? So we saw that sell-off, the market freaked out, but then of course came back up. Why did it freak out? Because if their interest rate starts going up, it means those loans that people were taking out in Japan for zero interest have now become a quarter interest. And now those high risk investments they were making all around the world start to become not as sexy as before. Right? I was looking enticing as before. I was looking for that word, and all I could think about was sexy. So since then, they've raised one or twice. I think this might be the third time that they've raised interest rates 0.25%. So again, previous times that has happened, we've seen the market pull back. That's a possibility, again, that could affect the stock market this week. If we look at individual stocks right now, people are looking at Nvidia and saying that Nvidia right now is basically the cheapest it has been ever relative to its earnings, right? And the amount of earnings that it is making. So that is a very interesting situation right now for Nvidia. We've talked a lot about Nvidia on the channel. AMD, of course, pulled back a little bit, but had a nice end to the week. SanDisk continues to be just an amazing stock, created a new all-time high there on Friday. If we look at Sofi, Sofi continues to, some would say disappoint, some would say consolidate, some will say that the spring is tightening and the potential of a crossover here on the 1348 EMA for Sofi stock. Sofi continues to get closer and closer to that possibility. People will look at that and say, well, there are other stocks that, for many years didn't really move or were stuck. Listen, if you look at similar stocks right now, for example, Robinhood, you can see Robinhood did actually break out a little bit, but it's similar, right? And you can see it hasn't had the same run up that the AI stocks had. Even Tesla and SpaceX, that was a huge IPO on Friday. We'll see how it reacts on Monday. Again, where does the money go after the SpaceX IPO? Does it start to distribute back into the AI play? Does it start going into undervalued stocks that maybe didn't get enough love from the stock market recently? Is it quantum stocks that popped up and then pulled back a little bit after the announcement of the White House that they were going to start investing in quantum? What happens with oil that has dropped all the way down to 82? What happens if a deal happens? Do we see it drop to all the way to 60, right? Where it was in the beginning of the conflict, right? Do we see something like that? So that, of course, would affect inflation. What do we see out of the energy stocks? Again, AI, does money start flowing back into the energy for AI? So there's a lot of things to work out and to look at this week. And it's going to be very interesting. A lot of things are going to be determined in the next 24 hours with the peace deal, yes deal, no deal. And then, of course, like I said, we have the Fed decision on Wednesday. Bank of Japan is also making their decision this week. And no trading on Friday. Is Juneteenth, so it's a shortened week on the stock market. That also creates a little bit of volatility because people are trying to jump in. And it's the Fed meeting, which is uncertainty. So this can create a lot of interesting developments this week in the stock market. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. A lot of you are watching the channel but not subscribed, so that's important. Ring the bells to get notifications about a new video that drops, and don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time, and like I always say, let's make a lot of money.